Hi, my name is Wayne Duvenage from OUTA. This is our weekly wrap, 3rd of October 2025, rapidly moving into the last quarter of the year. Silly season awaits us, and it certainly has been a busy week at OUTA. Never a dull day for civil society on the corruption front, I can tell you. Let me start with the Tembisa Hospital SIU's interim report. It's been headline news for most of the week. 2 billion rand stolen over a couple of years. This is roughly the same amount of its annual budget. Just imagine that. This network of people inside and outside the system, and inside the system, people from administrators, low-level administrators, right to senior management involved. The frustration for us, the absolute frustration, is this wasn't soppy administration. This is coordinated. This is a hospital that was turned into a crime scene. One that a brave soul like Babita Deokaran, who raised the alarm, paid the ultimate price. Her life was taken. And unless whistleblowers are kept safe, the looting, like that which has happened at Tembisa, is just not going to stop. And the real question is, are there other hospitals? We believe there are. This is the modus operandi that applies in many organizations, in government and institutions, and it has to stop. And this is what's unfolding at the Madlanga Commission right now. Without the oversight, without the ability for the criminal justice system to work efficiently, we're going to have more of this. I'll talk more about the Madlanga Commission, what is happening there, but for now, we want to see accountability of all of these people, not just a few disciplinary hearings that are taking place and a couple of dismissals. People need to go to jail, and quickly. And it is shocking 4 years later that very little has actually been done at the Tembisa Hospital debacle. On the Government of National Unity front, GNU, the latest issue there, the Patriotic Alliance saga. Well, it seems that their threat that the Patriotic Alliance will leave the GNU if Kenny Kunene isn't replaced or reinstated as the head of the JRA, and the MEC for transport in the city of Joburg has paid off for them. Our view is, if people threaten, they should let them go, quite frankly. The question we have to ask is, what is so important for this one position? We know there's a lot of money in transport and that portfolio. What makes that portfolio so desirable? We've heard of corruption around the fleet tenders in the past when the EFF had that portfolio in their coalition some time ago. What is it about this? Why is it a position that's more important as opposed to service delivery? I can tell you right now, service delivery from the Road Transport Agency or JRA, Joburg Roads Agency, in the city of Joburg is diabolical. It's atrocious, quite frankly. You have potholes, you have no lines painted, you have traffic lights that are out. It's diabolical. Anyway, let's see how that saga continues. Another good development, though, something we need to celebrate this week, was the judgment that came out in the Fred Daniels case. For those who are not fully aware of it, this is a case that's been dragged out in court for 15 years. And it involves Fred Daniels and a couple of his partners who are trying to put together a really dynamic biodiversity estate over thousands of hectares in Mpumalanga, near Barberton. It was going to create thousands of jobs. It was going to create billions of tourism income for the country. And it was all scuppered by fake land deals. The kingpin there was the late Deputy President David Mabuza, and obviously had enablers that scuppered this. Fred Daniels and his team were not going to be subjected to the pressure and the political interference that David Mabuza and his cronies were trying to introduce on this project. They wanted their cut, and they literally brought it to a halt. So we lost, South Africa lost a gem, a great opportunity to create jobs and foreign income as a result of this political interference. Again, the same stuff that's happening and being unfolding at the Madlanga Commission. 15 years later, his judgment comes out in his favor. A few hundred millions of rands awarded to him, and rightly so. Sadly, the cost is yours and mine. The cost of the court case is yours and mine. And I just wish that the late David Mabuza was alive to see this judgment. It was a scathing judgment and really a travesty and a classic example of how things go wrong when government interferes, when politicians interfere and overreach in decisions like this. They really just have no regard for what's in the best interest of the people, quite frankly. So as this Madlanga Commission evolves into the second week now, it is a very meaningful commission. You know, we often hear the comments, is this really going to change anything? Well, it is different to the Zondo Commission in that Zondo Commission largely, I'm not saying totally, largely focused on looting of state-owned entities. Whereas the Madlanga Commission is exposing something more sinister, being the infiltration of our criminal justice system itself. And this, when it happens, is the stuff that gets in the way and allows the political interference and the looting to take place. We need the criminal justice system to work and to flow. And if it does flow, and if it is efficient, I can assure you that many people in positions of power in government today would be in jail. But sadly, it doesn't. And we need to make that happen. Another development, which may or may not be linked to the Madlanga Commission, was the unfortunate untimely death of Mnathi Mthethwa. He was the Minister of Police some time ago. We'll have to find out. We can hear so far that it's got nothing to do with sinister elements. It looks like, well, we'll have to find out exactly what happened and what was behind his death, but condolences to his family. Another development, obviously, this week was the Dumisani Kamalo's testimony. He's a witness in this commission. He fell ill this week, and we wish him speedy recovery. We need his testament. We need all the testaments to come forward to get to the bottom of this, because transparency is important. Transparency, as we've always said, is the enemy of corruption, and we need to see accountability. We need to also see the NPA building cases alongside the commission, not waiting to the end, getting the evidence now, because we need to move fast when it comes to these things. We've seen the criminal justice system being delayed, far too lethargic and slow, and we hope that that speeds up as a result of what's happening here. On another front, very close to the work that we do, the Sectoral Education Training Authority, the reform that is required there. We know that we've had two ministers in a short space of time since the new GNU came into, or the 7th administration started middle of last year. So Buti Manamela, the new minister, had announced today that we have the boards for these seaters now underway or ensconced and selected and in place to do their work. Let me remind you of something. These boards were supposed to be in place in December last year. We're now in October this year. The second thing is that by March, the new boards with new chairpersons needed to be appointed and in place, because the 5-year tenure, the appointments of the CEOs comes to an end in March this year. It came to an end. It was extended by 6 months while government was trying to sort out these appointments of these boards. And we had for a long time no boards in place, no boards formally in place, and the CEOs, the de facto boards, doing what they could. Remember, a lot of these seaters, the 21 of them, a number of them, have qualified audits. They are being badly run, and money is being stolen. We've exposed that, and we've seen a lot of that happening. So now the chairpersons haven't been appointed. There's going to be acting chairpersons, which the boards are going to put in place, we believe, while the minister, who actually formally appoints these chairpersons, has still got to do that. And there were nominations put out. Those nominations closed early July. We put 15 people's names forward. We went in search and contacted 15 good people that we could find through our LinkedIn profiles, and they were happy to stand for these chairperson positions. It is now, as I say, October. We've contacted all of them. Not one of them has been interviewed. Not one of them has been contacted by the higher education nominations process for these board chairs. Not one. And so you've got to ask yourself, what are we going to expect here? Is this another farce? Is it another cadre deployment list that we're going to see? it's so important to have strong oversight of these entities, because we've seen how they've been plundered and how these boards have looked away at services Seta, at insurance Seta, in Seta, at the construction Seta, and others. We've seen how they've been rather limp and lifeless when it comes to tackling and holding the authorities, the executives at those Setas to account for the billions of rands, millions and millions in each one, that is lost to gross maladministration and corruption. So that's a story that's unfolding, and we'll bring you up to speed with that. Not to dwell too much on the political front, but obviously another story that evolved was the Julius Malema firing of a weapon in a public space. He was found guilty. Yeah, what can I say? Some people think that they're above the law. Some people will always attach a race card to something if it doesn't go their way. And if he believes he did nothing wrong and he was firing a toy gun, really, seriously, yeah, the mind boggles. You know, his message to his followers that, it's a badge of honor to go to jail in defense of what you believe is right. Well, don't appeal the judgment then. Go to jail if that's what you believe. Why are you appealing the judgment? It's just a crazy world, isn't it? I think just to wrap up, this week I attended a think tank workshop with like-minded thought leaders in civil society organizations. It's coordinated by the Anti-Corruption Coalition. That's run by the Gordon Institute of Business Science, a really good initiative where we explore the options of how do we tackle corruption in the absence of a political willingness to do so by those people in power who should be doing so and doing very little. We centered this discussion around the NACAC report. This is the National Anti-Corruption Advisory Council's report to the President, which was submitted to him in August. There are a lot of good suggestions in there, how to protect whistleblowers and how to make a meaningful impact when it comes to fighting corruption, ensuring that it is independent, that it is well-resourced. And, if the President was serious about tackling corruption, he would take that report and start putting it into place. But we don't see that. Our reality is that political leadership are not going to address the situation. Why? Because too many of them are too compromised. As I said earlier, if the rule of law was allowed to flow and be efficient and effective, well, many politicians would be wearing overalls today, orange-colored ones. So what do we have to do? Because that's the frustration and the feedback that we get from so many of our followers and our communication. This is absolute frustration. This is what we also spoke about. Well, until there is a mind shift change in leadership at the top, because that's where the power rests and lies for meaningful impact and impactful change in this space. It is up to us. It is up to civil society. It is up to the media, the free media, the independent media, the credible media, and civil society organizations to hold the fort, to keep exposing what is happening, because that does slow it down. I mean, we alone have stopped multi-billion, 100 billions rands of corrupt deals that would have taken place had we not intervened and got in the way and used the rule of law to do so. So, to say that civil society is not effective, it is effective. It needs to be more united. It needs to be more collaborative. It is a bit disjointed, but it is functional and it is doing excellent work. And when you look at the type of work that Jeff Wicks and others do, Peter Louis Myburg, these are investigative journalists that stop corruption just through the work that they do. The work that they do on limited budgets compared to what the hawks should do on their multi-billion rand budgets. Just look at what happened in the Babita Deokaran case, where Jeff Wicks did far more work on the information that came out of Babita's cell phone and computer than the hawks did in all the time that they had that equipment. They did nothing. And so we really need to ensure that civil society remains strong and remains vigilant and remains resolute in this job. We have to do this job. We can't do nothing. We can't look away. We have to remain on track until those who fear the outcomes of their looting and to realize that there are harsh consequences, we'll have to keep shining the light and doing what we can to stop the rot and this cancer from making things worse for all of us. And remember, it is the poorest of the poor suffer the most when service delivery goes awry at this level. I just want to thank all our supporters out there. Until next week, stay safe and have fun. Remember, we have to still enjoy this amazing country. So let's enjoy the good. There's a lot of good people in government that are also holding the fort. Stay strong, please, every single one of you. We need to fight on. And until next time, go Bokke. It's lovely to watch how our sportsmen and women out there are able to unite this country far more than our politicians, because they like to tell you and I that we are divided. We are not. We are united. We are diverse. And we've got amazing potential that we have to unlock. But we cannot allow these politicians, these thieves, these thugs, these criminal syndicates to rob our society of what is rightfully ours. Thank you. Have a good weekend.